Hi, I'm Kirsten from collaborationschool.com, and I'm doing some thinking about what are some pages from a mediator's book that leaders, managers, and supervisors can put to great advantage. So I have a list of 9 things, and you can find that whole list on collaborationschool.com, but I'm going to do one at a time in some videos. And so the one I want to talk about in this video is cross the T's and dot the I's. I think one of the things that is part of a mediator's job that is paramount and that I think is maybe something that is the reason a lot of agreements or plans fall through is because people don't cross the T's, dot the I's. So one of the jobs of a mediator is to manage information, make sure people leave with a lasting agreement, asking questions to make sure it's a realistic agreement, making sure that everybody knows what they've agreed to. A lot of the times, we'll have these conversations and make some plans about how to move forward with something and not do the work of really confirming that everyone is on the same page. And so there's a number of things that mediators do to make sure that that is the case. We ask a lot of questions. We ask a lot of clarifying questions, like who's doing what and when, and who's booking that boardroom, and who's going to get that report in, and what's the date, and what if we, and then we ask reality testing questions, like what if we can't meet the deadline, what if we can't access that funding, how do we, what do we do if Joe's not on board? So making sure that the plans that we make are realistic by asking some clarifying questions, asking some consequential questions. So those consequential questions are the reality testing ones. Making sure that what people are agreeing to actually is going to work for them and actually is going to meet their needs as well as the needs of the organization. So, maybe an example of that might be something like, I appreciate that you are agreeing to take this on, but I know when we spoke last week, you were feeling a little overwhelmed with that other project that you're doing. How's that going to work with you doing both? So asking those sorts of questions is one way to dot the I's and cross the T's. Another way I think that mediators use that is very effective is we write down the agreements. We share. Not necessarily in a contract. I don't use a formal contract. Other mediators do. Depends on the context of the work that we're in. If it's a legal context, then it may be a contract. Mine is less formal, but it's still written down. Here's what we agree to do. And so one of the reasons that is really effective in crossing the T's and dotting the I's and making sure people are on the same page is because it's yet another opportunity to put in front of people, here's what I think we agreed on, am I right? So it's like another clarifying question. It's another way of confirming. People walk away from conversations, from planning sessions, especially if those conversations were, uncomfortable or difficult. They walk away maybe with different interpretations of what was discussed or what was agreed upon. And so writing it down can be another way to make sure that the people are on the same page, because hopefully, and especially if it's sent out with the question, did I get it right? Did I miss anything? Did I misinterpret anything? Then hopefully you get back the answer, oh, well, I thought we agreed to X. Or yes, that looks great. And having it written down means that it helps with people's memories, it helps with accountability, and you can use that then as a leader or as a manager. You can then use that agreement. And it could be, when I say write it down, it could be as simple as just sending it in an email to say, here's a summary of what we discussed or agreed upon. Are we on the same page? You can then use that agreement when you do some check-ins, right? So if people agreed to move forward with a certain action by a certain time, maybe you also include in your agreement when you're going to check in on it, and then you can use that written agreement to have it right in front of you and say, well, we said we're going to do X, Y, Z. How's that going? Where are we at with that? Do we need to change anything? So I think, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, an important part of being a mediator, and something I think that is an important part of being a leader as well, is making sure that people leave with sort of a realistic and confirmed understanding of what the next steps are.